Shabbat Shalom. Now, I want to sing a song of praise before we even get started to the Shir Tikva community here on 50th Street who decided to fill up row by row. I sing a praise song and a song of gratitude to you, Shir Tikva. I think we know we're a unique community. We know we're a unique community, but I will say that a community that fills up from front to back is quite a special place indeed. Yasher koach, and thank you for making my Shabbos dreams come true right from the top. Look at this, a Shabbos first. The rabbi will not harangue you to move forward because you already did so good. Good Shabbos to you. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
The rabbi will still harangue you just about something new. It is good to be together. My name is Rabbi Ariel. For those that I do not know, is there anyone who's here for the very first time tonight? Welcome, 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 welcome. Is anyone here because you just moved here? Is anyone here because you're visiting someone you love? Welcome.
Yay!
Yay, welcome. Don't worry, I'm not going to call on you again. The rabbi will not harangue you. And is there anyone who's here in the sanctuary for the first time in a long time? Welcome back, welcome back. Yes, I thought so. Is there anyone who's just really enjoying raising their hand? Yes. Oh, human beings. Let's take a moment. I'd love the people who are going to be making a lot of noise into microphones to just take a moment and introduce ourselves. If you just want to share your names.
Yeah, I'm Samuel.
Riv.
I'm Sophie.
Kestrel.
It is a real honor to get to be welcoming Shabbat. It's a gift, actually. It's a gift. And the kavanah that I want to offer us tonight is this idea that comes from Talmud that Shabbat, is a 60th of Olam Haba. Shabbat is a 60th of the world to come. Now, if any of you are like, what? This idea of Olam Haba, this idea of the world to come, which is to say a world where there is wholeness and peace, where the world that we imagine and the world that we live in, there's space between them. And we look around the world today and we think, we call this olam hazeh, which might be a euphemism. This world, right, which we say, which is politer language that we might want to call. What is happening in this world? What are we witnessing in this world, in olam hazeh? And on Shabbat, we make space for olam haba. If Shabbat is a 60th of the world to come, then it's our sacred responsibility to make space for a world that is a little wholer and for selves that are a little safer and can express ourselves with dignity and joy. We make space for ourselves now, starting now. Now, in Olam Hazeh, on Shabbat, which is to say, I'm a mathematician, once every 7 days we get to do that, which is a lot. And we want more. We want it more. And thank God we have this practice of singing and breathing and grounding and connecting and making space for Olam Haba. Now. We get to do this especially tonight because we have beloveds in our sanctuary. We have people who are getting married on Sunday. And the chuppah is the wedding canopy. And there's all sorts of Shabbat and wedding canopy connections that I'm not going to tell you about now, so come back next week. But there are so many connections between the sense of how do we on Shabbat create space for the world that we need, and how do we under the chuppah make and insist that this love and this relationship and this way of being together makes new worlds possible. Okay, so it is my incredible honor to be able to welcome Nate and Scribe up onto the bima. Sorry, you just got here and I'm making you work for it. I hope, can I hear some symbolic rustling? Okay, and now I know we're ready for you. So please come on up as we kindle the Shabbat lights. I'm so happy to see you in person. Kindle the lights using this magic wand. Thank you. The blessing is found on page 2. So you light it with the wick and the candles, and you just close it up. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to invite you to come here away from the candles. This is not my first rodeo. So, my dears, my blessing for you before we shower you with our wishes for sweetness, gently, is that this partnership, this companionship, and this center of community that you two have been creating and will create through the course of your lives be one that brings Olam Haba closer and plants it right at the heart of wherever it is you go. I cannot wait to bless you more under the chuppah in just a few days. We will sing together as we gently toss. Simin tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simin tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, simin tov, a mazel tov, a a simin tov. Yehelanu, 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 olecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu. Olecho Yisrael. inspired to add a blessing. May you bring sweetness closer to you, inspired by these 3 incredible candy retrievers. May that be your posture towards sweetness and blessing, just this way, to hold nothing back. Mazal tov to you. The kids in childcare are going to be so bitter.
We can't tell them.
Don't tell them. Oh.
What did they say?
So we'll turn together to page 12. Oh, no, we are definitely, no, I'm already leading you astray. We're going to turn together to page 332. Sorry. Let's turn together to page 12.
Can we get more of Sam?
In the mic. Is it okay to ask for that during a service?
We are now.
We are now.
Lechu neranena. Ladonai. Naria. Letzorishenu. Lekadmafana. Betoda. Bizmirot. Narialo. Lechuneranena. Ladonai. Naria. Letzurishenu. Nekademafana. Betoda. Bizmirot. Narialo. Yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, oh. Yalalai, yalalai. Yalalalalai. Yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, oh. Yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, oh. Yalalai, yalalai. We'll turn together to page 13, 2 lines up from the bottom of the first paragraph. I know. There's a little line break, so just count 2 lines up from there. Hod ve'hadar lefanav. Hod ve'hadar lefanav. We'll turn together to page 16. We'll sing five lines from the top. Let's do that again. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Terteve yoshveva. Yiram hayam umelo. Neharodim chauchaf yaranai yaranai. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Neharodim chauchaf yaranai yaranai. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Tevel veyoshveva. Yiram hayam umelo. Neharodim chauchaf yaranai yaranai. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Neharodim chauchaf yaranai yaranai. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Tevel veyoshveva. Yiram hayam umelo. Neharodim chauchaf yaranai yaranai. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Neharodim chauchaf yaranai yaranai. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Neharodim chauchaf. Neharodim chauchaf. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Neharodim chauchaf. Neharodim chauchaf. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Yachadarim yeraneinu. Neharodim Hasidic master taught, we sing nigunim many times, not just to make us feel a little annoyed and confused about whether the song will ever end. Oh no. Instead, we begin by singing the song to our soul. And really, let's think about it. Like we're singing our song to our soul. And I want us to think for a moment, what would we want our soul to remember? And plant that inside of the song that we sing. What teaches the Rebbe? If we begin by singing the song to our soul, if we sing enough times that song, then our soul begins to sing. So the first time we sing a nigun, or maybe the first through the 5th time, or maybe the first through the 20th time, we're singing the song to our soul who needs it. But if we can stay in that song, our soul sings. So as we move into Ana B'choach, as we loosen up from the week, just invite us to we are already spiraling into this process, but we'll continue in deeper and deeper. Let's turn together to page 20. We'll sing this 9-verse piyut, this 9-verse liturgical poem, because there is truly no better way to say we're ready for Shabbat than reciting a 9-verse poem out loud. I'm sure you'll agree. And as we get to the 9th verse, you're invited to rise and root, and if you wish to join me out on the balmy and slushy 50th Street patio of Shir Tikva to welcome Shabbat, you're welcome to do so. And if wherever you are zooming in from, please throw open doors and windows, and let us greet Shabbat together. Chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekavela pene Shabbat nekavela shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmianu el ha'miyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem
והיו נמשיסה שוסאי ורק
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll rise in body and root on page 28 as we call each other to prayer. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 yo. Ya la la la. Ay ya la la la. Ay la 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 ya la 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 yo. Ya la la la. Ay la 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 la. Ay la 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 yo. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. Hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. You may be seated. On page 30, we read in Hebrew, read in English, or just take a moment to bless light and dark and the creation of everything. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. On page 32, we bless love, a love that is boundless and timeless. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, והם נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. We rise and root. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. We continue on page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם כראשים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We'll turn together to page 40. Yalai, yalai, yalalai, yalalalai, yalai, yalai, yalalai, yalalalai, yalai, yalai, yalalai, yalai, 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 yalalai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malechutecha rahu banecha, בוקר לפני משה ומרים, זרי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יללי, יללי, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We'll turn to page 42 and we'll sing Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, spread over us, spread on us, place upon us a sukkah of peace, a layer of protection. And I feel like oftentimes when I offer a kavanah for this, what I end up doing is basically saying we're so far away from feeling like we have a sukkah of peace on us, which it occurs to me this week feels like the antithesis of what we're supposed to be doing when singing Ufros Aleinu. So sorry. I just wish so much for this space on Shabbat together to be a space where we get to practice offering each other dignity and uplift, safety, more safety perhaps, more protection. And maybe Ufros Aleinu then gets to be a sense of declaration and an anthem, right? A reminder to us, not of how far it is, because my God, I think we know that, but rather a declaration of the fact that we get to insist our way together towards something that feels a little bit more like the kind of human that we want to be in the moment to moment. And so maybe our singing of Ufros Aleinu can have anchored, rooted into it, that sense of the desperate clarity that we have about this moment, but also let our tree root there and branch into that sense of who we get to be for each other and the gift of that and the sacred purpose of that. So let's sing it tenderly and with a great deal of chutzpah, right? We know the odds, we know the stakes, and we're singing it anyway because we know it and we believe it, and we offer that gift to each other. rise together on page 44. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We'll turn to page 46 as we prepare for our Amidah, for our personal prayer, and we'll daven from pages 48 until pages 62, using the words of our Siddur and adding the words of our heart, and we'll join together back in song on page 62. Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. We'll take this time now to pray for healing of body, for healing of spirit. We'll sing and then we'll pause, and I invite you please to share names of people that you're praying for. We'll share them as a whole community so we can feel the thickness and the depths of our prayers, of all of the directions that we're sending this prayer for healing in this moment. And we'll seal, after we've spoken names aloud, we'll seal our prayer in song. We'll begin in singing.
We sing you healing. We sing you care. We sing you justice. We sing you prayer. We sing you healing. We sing you care. We sing you justice. We sing you prayer. El Narefana, El Narefana, We sing you healing. We sing you care. We sing you justice. We sing you prayer. We sing you healing. We sing you care. We sing you justice. We sing you prayer. El Narefanala, El Narefanala, oh, El Narefanala, El Narefanala.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Happy week before Purim. Has anyone else had the experience this week of things being a little topsy-turvy? I mean, just on the personal space, it's been weird, right? Adar.
It was also like 55 degrees on Monday, and then we got 8 inches of snow.
Adar. It was also 55 degrees, and then we got 8 inches. That also happened this week. A puzzle. Okay. In Parshat Tetzaveh, which we read this Shabbat, the high priest, Aaron, gets bedazzled. He gets dressed in gold and crimson, techelet, blue, and embroidered pomegranates. He wears precious stones on his chest and a gold headdress, complete with tzitzit, with a covering for his forehead. It's all made of gold. He gets swathed in fabric, and he has tiny golden bells sewn into the bottom of the hem of his garment. The people might be wandering through the wilderness, and they will be for another 38 years. I'm going to pause for one moment. The people might be wandering through the wilderness, and they will be for another 38 years. And this Mishkan that they're getting instructions in the next books of Torah is designed to be modular. So everyone is designing around transportation and movement, but somehow this high priest is dressed so as to be almost completely immobile. Can we imagine this? He's grandly, fabulously garbed. He's weighed down by fabric and metal and gems. And seeing him this way in my imagination, I imagine that he must have been worried about bending down in such a way that his headdress would fall off. I love this image of our high priest as this erect and slow-moving figure at the heart of a dynamic and chaotic encampment. I think we can get so lost in the details of the descriptions, the minute descriptions of the priest's costume, how many pomegranates, what kinds of stones, that we can lose sight of the impact of all of this design. One human being, almost immobile, dressed up like the inside of a jewelry box. The punchline comes early. So can we invite that high priest into our midst? Not one who's busy with sacrifices, hands dirty and face smudged, and not the high priest with a judgy face who's coming as the embodiment of patriarchy. No. A fabulous, bejeweled, inherently clumsy figure, almost totally hidden behind fabulous drag. Can we invite him here? Yes, please. Silent and still, not because he doesn't want to be moving or come close to us, but because in order to keep his vestments in order, he has to hold himself together. So as I invoke this high priest, this ancestor of ours, Aaron, I feel this incredible amount of compassion welling up in me. Aaron is a quiet figure in Torah, and imagining him this way, all dressed up and gilded with ritual garb, he comes closer to us somehow. He becomes tangible and softer. He becomes more human as we imagine him behind all of this grandness. And this imagination, this image is not just a visual one. Let's imagine, with all of this finery, the sound of bells. He's breathing. He's moving. He sneezes. The tiny bells on the hem of his garment sound an ongoing music in the air, endlessly. Now, I guess I had dreams of being a performance art rabbi because here I am with an elephant and bells. But I want us to imagine that each of us had tiny bells in our hands, because it's not just, I think this elephant has a single bell. There are many bells on the high priest's garments, and I noticed there are bells on all of the decorations of Torah. So I think that also, our Torot are calling back. It's an ancient callback to the high priest. So let's imagine this whole room filled with this sound, gently. That high priest was not heralded by shofar or strings, but tiny, tiny bells. I'm going to stop this now. Can you imagine if I kept it going for the rest of the Devar?
Yes.
It is Purim after all. I will not do that to you, but I will leave my elephant here. Here you go. You don't do it, please. I'll try. I should have worn more jewels. Now, our tradition teaches that the bells on the hem of the high priest were meant to atone for Lashon Hara. They were meant to atone for the words that we say, that the people said, that create damage. And so these tiny bells tinkling as he moved served even as he did the most ridiculous things. Thank you. Just like this. These bells create an insistent and gentle counterpoint to the damage we do with our words. They sound other possibilities into the world. And I thought, as I was writing this, of a verse from a Peter, Paul, and Mary song, which you probably know. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out the love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Ooh. Now, I want you to know, first of all, that was a dream. I sang that song as a fourth grader in a talent show. And I want you to know that as I sang it, and I think until today, I imagined the bell that we were singing, that we were sounding, to be like this gargantuan, right? A gargantuan bell, so enormous, shocking in scale and sound. But here, I think this week, our tradition is asking us to imagine a bell of love that is not so shocking and like system shaking, but instead the tiny bells of our high priest. This tiny chorus, calling the priest into his service and sending out the possibility of speech that heals rather than divides into the world. So we read in our parsha this week, "V'haya al Aharon l'sharet v'nishma kolo bevo el hakodesh lifnei Adonai uvtzeto v'lo yamut." Aaron should wear these bells while officiating all of his sacred services so that the sound of it is heard when he comes into the holy place before God and when he goes out, so that he not die. V'lo yamut. These bells are not an afterthought. They're not just pretty. They don't just sound nice, but they're essential protection for the high priest. And significantly, our commentary does not offer us much about the why, and I looked. So I wanted to pause here just for a moment to see if we have ideas about why these bells, who our Talmud teaches atoned for the damage of Lashon Hara, might have protected the priests coming and going. It's a big question. There is literally not a wrong answer. Does that question make sense? Why might these bells have protected the priest as he went through his sacred service? Yeah? Yay. Hold on, I'm coming to you with a microphone.
Because they make music.
That's amazing. No commentary needed. That was amazing.
Kept the fairies close by.
It's bears, obviously, right? You get mauled.
This is the most amazing Adar Torah I've ever heard. Yes.
I like to imagine it's kind of like putting a bell on a cat so that it doesn't surprise you on its way in. Like if Aaron came in and God wasn't expecting him.
Actually essential for anyone who remembers the story of Nadav and Avihu, never surprise God. Incredible.
I kind of imagine the sanctuary of the Ark as a place with a lot of gravity, and I get the sense that a gently tingling bell kind of lifts or lightens the gravity in that center, in that place.
Beautiful. One last idea, Mindy. Last word goes to Mindy. Always a wise idea.
A little less silly, but I was thinking how valuable, how much I think as humans we long to atone and to heal. And when there's problems, and if that's his role, if that's part of the bells and his role was to help people atone for their sins, then I think everybody would guard him and not want to hurt him because he was so valuable in that role, and people don't know how to do that and kind of want to protect him as being able to help them in doing that.
Every time we do a collective Devar Torah, it makes me really want to shir Tikva Talmud. I just our Devar Acher, this idea in Talmud is you get to have many different interpretations of the same idea. Devar Acher, and another idea, and I feel like our Divrei Acher are beautiful. Yasher Koach. So as I read the Parsha this week, I'm just going to add one final thought, tuck it in with all of these amazing ideas, though I cannot beat bears. So good. So as I read our Parsha this week, I was struck by the difference between these bells, gently tinkling, and another sound, or an image of sound that has social and political impact, especially now, the idea of a dog whistle, the use of coded or suggestive language in political messaging to garner support or direct action from one group without provoking opposition. Now, this idea, the dog whistle, is named after ultrasonic dog whistles, which are audible to dogs but not to humans. And dog whistles in political life use language that appears to be normal to the majority but communicates something specific to intended audiences. And I looked at the etymology. I wanted to know how long have we been talking about dog whistles, and according to the internet, dog whistles, this idea of a dog whistle as in a linguistic sense, only got popularized in the 1980s. And I think this is amazing, given that I think each of us could just today probably name 3 or 4 examples of dog whistles that we are noticing, whether in the press or coming from the government or in the world around us. The whistles are everywhere. And I think we notice the ways that our energies can suddenly be directed against each other instead of in the direction of shared liberation. And so I invoke the tinkling of bells tonight as an antidote. Yes. I summon the irrepressible collective voice of those bells and the way that they guided and accompanied the priests' movements, the way that they rang healing from Lashon Hara into the world. And in moments in our time when language and ideology are twinned, and where the federal government seeks to disappear or criminalize language with very real repercussions for funding and employment and bodily safety, I wonder how these bells might remind us of the redemptive and connective power of sound and speech. This political strategy of those behind the federal government want to disorient us and keep us off our center. And so I want to invoke the high priest, erect and armored, not for battle, but for spiritual service, engaged in a dynamic balancing act of all of his finery, releasing the most gentle and determined and irrepressible of sounds, a sound of healing and of clarity and protection. And I want to bless us with the wish that we use our voices and our songs and our conversation and our poetry and our voices lifted in protest like the bells of the priest's garments. May we allow our speech and our song as a counterbalance, as atonement for Lashon Hara, an atonement for all the ways that language is now used to distract and deceive and to harm, and feel that we are attached to a whole sacred garment so much bigger and older and more beautiful than we can even imagine. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much. I will leave that elephant in my office in case anyone ever needs to shake some bells. So we'll open to blessing now, and thank you so much for your insights. Those were amazing. Oh, the elephant is getting returned to Alma. We'll have to ask Alma for her permission to shake the bells. If you want to sing with me, you can find the words to our community blessing on the blue sheets. Hamalach hagoel oti, hamalach hagoel oti mikol ra, yevarech et hane'arim, vayikarev bahem shemi, v'shem avotai, v'shem avotai, Avraham veYitzchak, veYidgul harov, veYidgul harov bekerev haaretz. Zimchem Elohim kesara, kerivka, kerachel uchelea, kefraim uchimnashe, yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And I'll invite our Zoom blessers to bless us. Yalalai, yalalai, ayo. Yalalai, 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 ayo. Ay, yalalai, yalalai, ay, yalalai, ayo. May we atone for the harm done by our own words. May we drown out hate with loving, joyful silliness. May we all sing out and build love between all of our siblings. May our loving words gently tinkle away the pain. May we listen for the sound, now I'm laughing, for the sound of gently jingling bells, and may their quiet sound center us. May our every movement and breath also be accompanied by music. May we stand strong and still and beautiful and send our ripples outward. May we shadow over the sounds of hatred like the earth will shadow the moon on Purim night at 1:30 in the morning. May the bells of our voices drown out hate and harm without drowning out each other. May we overwhelm the painful words with love. Can you hear us on? Yalalai, yalalai, ayo. Yalalai, 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 ayo. Yasher koach. I just pray that in the ways that we listen to each other, whether we are surprised by the ways that we participate in our sweet insights, the blessings on the chat, or the people we meet at Oneg, may we keep each Friday, each Shabbos, falling a little bit more in love with each other. I think that's part of our 160th of the world to come. So let's turn together to page 284 and rise and root as we begin to conclude our service. Be seated. We come now to Kadisha Tome, to Mourner's Kaddish, this time to remember people who have died recently and at this time in years past. Before I read our community's list, and we all have chances to share very short stories about the people that we're remembering, I want to take a moment and I want us to sing Ose Shalom in honor and outrage at the sheer number of people who have been killed in Israel-Palestine since October 7th. Recognizing that we are in an incredibly precarious moment, that people in Gaza continue to be killed, that hostages continue and prisoners continue to wait for political courage and clarity. And know that we don't just feel this outrage when we say Kaddish, but may we make space, may we take action, may we connect with each other every day of the week, building power towards justice, towards something more than this broken moment. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, imru, amen. As a community, we remember we're in the Shloshim, the first 30 days since the death of John Rothstein, brother of Robert, brother-in-law of Christina, and uncle of Jonah. We observe the yard sites of Lorraine Armour, Emmy Higgs Matzner's grandma, Sam Axler, Lisa Brownstein's grandfather, Margaret Arlene Backer, Lynn Ellis's mother, Oscar Berman, Hirsch's grandfather, Irving Borokoff, Jean. I'm so glad, Mindy. There's so many cousins in this community. Thank God. Here, Mindy Benowitz.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oscar Berman was my great-grandfather, because Hirsch is my cousin. And he grew up in Russia, very poor, came over here as a young man. He was a carpenter, worked really hard, and just had a really difficult time as an immigrant and making all the transitions with mental health issues, and he persevered. And I used to go there when I was a little kid and sleep over at their house in North Minneapolis and jump on the beds, and they didn't like that, but anyway, he's just a huge part of my family being here, and I'm really grateful.
Irving Borokoff, Jean's brother. Shirley Broad, Michael Land's grandmother.
So this is my first yard site, so that's tough. My grandma was a really stern but beloved woman, which is sort of an interesting combination. But in the last few years of her life, she was profoundly affected by dementia, which radically transformed my family's relationships with her, because it removed a lot of the sternness and really stripped her down to her essence, which is a really kind, caring woman who was just really anxious a lot, and that's her sternness is how that came out. She also really loved cooking. If you ever want her 22-minute Texas chocolate sheet cake recipe, let me know. But in the last 2 years of her life, she couldn't really cook anymore. It just wasn't safe. So I'd call her and I would just tell her, and she'd say, what have you been cooking? And I would just tell her everything I'd been cooking. And the nice thing is, even if I hadn't been cooking, she probably wouldn't have remembered. So I could just tell her. And so I'd say, well, this week I baked an apple pie, and she'd say, how you do it? And I would tell her every step and how I did my crust and how I cut the apples, or what did you fix for dinner? And then I would send her pictures to my grandpa's phone, and she would just stare at those pictures, and she'd just look and say, can I see that picture again? And it was really, there's a lot of things I think I wish people wouldn't have to experience with dementia. It's horrible, but there's weird points of beauty you get, and that was one thing I wouldn't trade for anything, so.
Joseph Bromberg, Amy Funk's dad. Rudolph Fendler, Jackie's father. Sarah Fitchman, Andrea Rubenstein's mom. Martha Fredman, Philip Oxman's grandfather. Neil Greenberg, Steve's brother. Ruth Hammer, Rivka's mother. Curtis Hare, Thrin Arnav's grandfather. Esther Horowitz, Judith Brooks's mom. Dennis Sanchez-Jones, Jr., Laura's father. Fran Kalin, Jeremy's grandmother. Joseph Kramer, Jackie's grandfather. Howard Levine, Sandy Levine's father. Bill Levy, Stephen's grandfather. Rachel Mandenbaum, Bruce Manning's grandmother. Marge Martin, Freda Marver's aunt. Harry Mednick, Stu's grandfather. Eleanor Nearin, Lisa Brownstein's great-aunt. Larry Raskin, Howard Ornstein's uncle. Guadalupe Reyes, Sophia Woods' grandmother. Chaskell Roeder, Jackie Kramer's grandfather. And Theodore Scherer, Amy Honig's father. And I wonder, is there anyone here who's remembering someone?
I actually have 3 people, so thank you for your patience. The first person is actually a shloshim, my fiance's dear friend's mother, who kind of adopted him when he moved to Minnesota from Texas several years ago. Donna Sheridan passed in the last month, and it's been very hard on my fiance. And she was just warm and loving and had me at her house for Thanksgiving when he and I first started dating with no questions asked. Just made of love, beautiful human being, and sorely missed. And then the 2 yard sites were actually read last week. My dear friend Kiara Sear and my grandfather Sam, aka nickname for Saturno Massey, on my mother's side, and just both are dearly missed.
This weekend is the 60th anniversary of the March on Selma, and 4 people died during that. So if we could just remember that marching is an act of bravery and courage, and we lead others behind us.
A man named Jeremy Sherman was a very good friend of my son Gabe's, and he took his own life 2 nights ago.
Tomorrow will be 17 years since my grandfather died. And one of the things I loved about him was he was incredibly stubborn. And while he was dying, he was very upset that he didn't have anything comfy to wear. So my grandma went out and bought him like these amazing pajamas in his favorite sports team. And then he didn't want to wear them because he didn't want to ruin them. So then when he was being cremated, they asked if there was anything special to him that we should dress him in. So we put him in the pajamas that he didn't want to ruin.
I just last week found out that my first love died, and he was an incredibly complicated human being who dealt with addiction and houselessness, and he died alone on the corner and from his addictions. And I don't have anything particularly joyful to say about him.
Holding all those who are in mourning and remembering close, I invite us please to rise en route. We'll recite Kadisha Tom on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'almei almaya, v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru amen. May all those who are in mourning, all those who are remembering, receive the comfort they need. May you please be seated. May you please be seated. What a funny time to decide to become formal. I'm so overjoyed to be able to invite Julie Jacobs to come join me here on the Bima. Beloved Julie. Julie, you have so many announcements to read tonight. Mazal tov and thank you in advance.
Luckily, I can talk quickly. Okay, so you already know I'm Julie Jacobs. Thank you for being with us tonight. It's such a joy to be together. At the end of the service, please return your prayer books to the usher table and separate the blue sheets. Thank you to all of those who made tonight possible: Rabbi Ariel, Samuel Porter, Kestrel Feiner Homer, Riv Shapiro, Sophie Gooderl, Gordon, the Macomb Minion, Julie Jacobs, Lori Sweeten, and thank you to our Shomrim, Rondi, who was here tonight, and security for your steady presence. Find all of our Shirtikva programming updates in our weekly e-news and on the website. Interested in what membership means? Interested in what? Okay. Programmatic updates. Next week's Shabbat service will be a mask recommended service, Saturday, March 8th, 10:30, tomorrow morning. There's a community Shabbat service. The Songful service gives us a chance to lift our voices in prayer, to dig into Torah discussion and savor Shabbat over a potluck meal. Sunday, March 9th at 2:30, there's Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice. Be part of the solution. No cost certificate. I'm tripping over my own words. Okay, come at 2:30. There's going to be a panel discussion. March 11th at 6 o'clock, Project Esther. What is it and what can we do about it? The new presidential administration has already implemented several items from the Heritage Foundation's Project Esther, written by the same authors, that's right, it's like Haman, as Project 2025, aimed at limiting free speech under the guise of combating anti-Semitism. March 13th at 6:30 is the Purim Spiel and dinner. March 13th, no, that's not true. Oh, there's going to be dinner. And then there's a Purim Carnival on that Sunday. So.
Thank you so much. I can pass to Larry. Thank you. Just as a dagesh, like as an emphasis on the 11th, the lecture on Project Esther. Dove Kent, who is a nationally renowned scholar and activist, is teaching Shir Tikva in partnership with JCA. This is a big deal, capital B, capital D. Please come. It's on Zoom because Dove is on the East Coast. I really hope you'll take advantage of this opportunity to learn with an expert about a very important subject. I'm passing it over to Larry Silber. Am I? Is that okay? Sure.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Larry Silber. Julie and I represent the Member Engagement Committee. So if you are a new or prospective or adjacent member of Shir Tikva and you wish to talk with us, we would love to meet you.
We're going to bless. I feel like the end of a service is always a little bit of a tumble. We're like, woo, here we go. But this blessing is found on page 12. This blessing is found on page 5. Baruch et Adonai Borei Peri HaGafen Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikraei kodesh זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, עם כל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת לחיים. We didn't talk about this beforehand, but I'm going to invite Sam to come say hi. Will you come here? Sorry, Sam. Shir Tikva's team has grown. Sam is joining our team. This is Sam. Come on. It's a really short. You didn't seem so shy though. You're like Shir Tikva shy, which is really good. All these people are shy. except for a few people. Most of us are shy. So Sam is, there were exceptions, the exception proves the rule. So Sam is with us now 10 hours a week working on facilities and just like helping make Shir Tikva move a little bit more smoothly and more beautifully. We're so happy you're here. Do you just want to say hi?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sam. I don't really know what to say about my... Yeah, hi.
Yeah, and please meet Sam after Shul. It just felt important so that way you're like, who is this new person? Yeah, sorry, we did not talk about that beforehand. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz te'avon. We'll close in song. Good Shabbat.